you doing motions or not? Okay. I call the meeting of the Arts Council of Alachua County to order August 2nd, 2021 at 5:30 p.m.
Oh, you know what? You can't do motions if everybody is virtual. I need members physically present to do motions, so I apologize.
Okay.
But you can have full discussions and everything. So as far as like the next two items, you can't make motions for them. Actually, the next items.
So everything up until they call the artist update.
Correct.
Okay. So we'll go
to item 4 maybe, or yeah, item 4.
Okay. Lyra Cruz. The art in the Jack Durrant's boardroom application.
Yes, and so Lyra is on the call. So if anybody has any particular questions, however, we will have to table whether or not to recommend her artwork to the board until our next meeting. But everything in her application appears to be okay. And then I'll scroll down to her actual art. And so this is the piece that she's proposing be included in the Jack Durrant's art program.
Anyone have any questions? I don't see any hands raised on the, go ahead. Okay, hearing none. Then there's item number 5, the call to artist updates for both the West Lawn and the fire stations.
Actually, one quick thing, if you don't mind, Mr. Chair. David Sutton, he was just appointed by the Board of County Commissioners as our alternate, and I didn't know if you wanted to take a moment just to allow him to introduce himself to us.
Definitely. Sorry.
Oh, hey, good evening, everyone. This is my second meeting. The first one I sat in, I can't remember if I was part of it yet or if it was just before I got appointed. I am the CRA coordinator for the city of High Springs and working hard out here to grow our little community, the downtown area. And we are, although we're High Springs, we're pretty cultural ourselves. We're doing well. Damon, who spoke last time we were here, the art camp is going very well out here. I think they're averaging like 70 children a day. And this is the week that's going on out there for that. And that's about it. Just wanting to be a part of this, looking forward and going to sit back and learn a lot about art.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
So as far as our West Lawn update, we are asking the Community Remembrance Program Committee to accept nominations from the community about prominent African-American Alachua County deceased citizens. They seem pretty excited about that opportunity, and what they would do is go through them, kind of pick their top handful. Then the Historical Commission would thoroughly vet their top maybe 3 or so candidates. Then we would submit those candidates to the Board of County Commissioners, and then they would select the top candidate. Then it would come back to this group for the actual selection of the sculptor. So that's the current update as far as the West Lawn. And then we had some fire stations, and they're not really new anymore. They're actually a couple years old. However, as this group may know, and for our new members, you may not know, that the county sets aside 1% not to exceed $100,000 whenever we have new capital projects. So with that, the new fire stations, they did not get their artwork. So for, we have 2 fire stations, and they would like a fire station, like first responder kind of themed mural in both of the stations. So I'm working with them right now to kind of figure out exactly what the scope is, like what is it that they want. And then I'll bring the draft call to artists back to this group. So I'm hoping for your September meeting, we'll have the drafts ready for your review. Then we'll put it out on the streets, and then, maybe October, November, one of those meetings we'll go through and figure out who the selected artists are. Irene, a question for you, that you had developed that software. Do you believe that maybe the fire station mural might be a good beta test for your software?
Yes, definitely. It's ready, it's working, and I do want to extend it also for sculptures in the future, but at the moment it works perfectly for murals especially. You can try it.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And Gina, would you mention where those 2 fire stations are? Or?
Yes, it's fire station. Okay, well, I know the numbers, so hopefully this means something to you. Fire station 33 and fire station 41. So Lyra, do you by chance know, like, is that the Waldo station? Do you know where they are?
I think that number 33 is by the Walmart.
Okay, 441.
441. No, number 41, I'm not really sure what that one is. I know where 33 is, I think, but not 41.
Okay.
That would also be a question for TJ.
So those are the updates for our call to artists.
Okay.
The next item on the agenda was the mini and matching grants. So we received 18 mini grant applications and then 3 matching. So the difference is the 18 are from Alachua County artists, and then we had 3 of our local cities apply. The artists, they don't have a match requirement. So you just need to go through and evaluate them. I'm going to send you an email as soon as this meeting is done. And it's a share file link that has all of the applications uploaded. And so you're going to see the rubric, and there's some questions. For example, if you feel like they answered this question well, you can give them up to 10 points. If they didn't answer it so great, maybe you feel like they get 5 instead of 10 points. So it's completely however you would like to evaluate them, but it just helps give you guys a starting point, so this was really the best application in your opinion, and this was the weakest application. And so at the end, just rank them. Then your top would be number 1, your least favorite would be number 18, and then whenever we get together in September, it'll be like golf. So basically the top 4 applications would actually be the lowest scoring ones, because theoretically, your favorite one only received 1 point, but your least favorite one received 18 points. So it seems a little kind of crazy, but whenever you think about it, that's why the low score wins, because that's the one that was more of everybody's favorite. So then we'll take those recommendations to the board. So I have an Excel spreadsheet in there with the rubric. There's one for the mini grants. And so there's also one for the matching grants. We had 3 cities apply. And then it automatically tallies for you. And then there's a total summary one, and it says for Gina's use only. So you guys know, just don't even worry about that. That's for whenever we get together in September and we're going around the table and you're giving me your scores, then I'll use that tab to put in your final scores.
Okay.
And we also need the conflict of interest form too. So we'll need that for your September meeting.
And for disclosure purposes, Mr. Paul Gabbard from Why Not did email me and Gina his application. I did not respond whatsoever. Gina did respond and thanked him for applying and wished him luck. So just wanted to put that out there.
And we do have 2 conflict of interest. So heads up, David, you cannot score the matching ones for the city because you applied on behalf of the city of High Springs. And then Irina, you cannot score the mini grants because you are an applicant. So David, you can score mini. Irina, you could score matching.
Excuse me, how can we get this conflict of interest form?
It's going to be in the share file document. So it's part of the email link that I'm going to send to you shortly.
Perfectly, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And as you guys start going through it and you have questions, maybe something doesn't open, like the Excel sheet specifically, please download it, because it has 18 artists. And so it's very long and the font is very small. So it's best if you go ahead and just download it to your computer, and then you can, increase it and make it readable.
Okay. Very good.
Okay.
The next item on the agenda was the artist conference discussion. So I don't know exactly how we'd like to move forward on that one.
Yeah, David.
I have a
Chair.
couple thoughts, if you don't mind, I'll
okay.
pitch in. So, COVID is kind of ramping
Go
up
ahead.
again. And tomorrow at the board's
Mhm.
1:30 meeting, we're actually going to have a conversation about even requiring those who are vaccinated to wear a mask in county buildings. And one of the things too is that county employees we're not even allowed to have social get-togethers. Like if I wanted to have a staff retreat or something, today, I expect tomorrow that the board will adopt those types of things. So it does make me a smidge nervous having a conversation about an artist conference whenever, we're really discouraging staff even from getting together in person. It's like, if we can meet via Zoom, that's the preferred way to meet. So just
Mhm.
from the county's perspective, those are some of the things that I expect to be rolled out during tomorrow's 1:30 meeting. Of course, I won't know until after the board has the conversation, but those are the things that the county manager is proposing at this time.
I'm not very
Go
computer
ahead, Ms.
savvy.
Queen.
Yeah, I'm not very computer savvy, but I noticed my daughter, they've been having a lot of Zoom conferences. And what I can do, I can find out from her how that works. Maybe we can still have our art conference, but by Zoom.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, because US been having a lot of conferences, and she's been involved in it. So I can find out. And I mean, but they go for 8 hours. I don't know if I can do the 8 hours, but but 8 hours. What I can do, I'll find out from her and I can email you, Gina, some ideas, and maybe we can still have the conference, but on Zoom.
Yeah. Even if you have to split it into like 2 days and 4 hours one day, 4 hours the next day, or whatever, so that it's flexible and people can work it into their own schedules type thing.
Right. Cause I don't know how my daughter and them do it, but they there 8 hours. Oh my God. It's too much.
We could even record it, and if you can't make it to
Yeah.
any of the sessions, you could see it later. So that's a
You'll
great
watch it. Mhm.
Right.
I got a question. I've been to Kanapa Hall one time and didn't see much of it. How big is the facility and how many people are expected to attend? And is any of this outdoors?
So originally we were planning on, I want to say 70 or 75 participants. So they do have a nice size meeting room, and depending on how you set it up. So if it's auditorium style, so no tables, people just have chairs, I think it could seat somewhere in the neighborhood of like 70 or 75. We were thinking that maybe if we had some local artists that they wanted to display their work, that we could have something like on the outdoor grounds. And I mean, even the gardens themselves are God's artwork, in my opinion. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
But Gina, we don't know how this virus is crazy. I don't know how will we do that? I mean, giving the 6 feet rule, what is it, 6 feet rule? I mean, this is so crazy.
Yeah, and if we had
Go away.
if we had to do that at Kanapa, I don't know that we could even accommodate maybe 10, maybe 15 people. I mean, with 6 feet social distancing, it'd really limit us.
I just wish it would go away. Just go away. Just go away. Maybe we're gonna be stuck with Zoom. I mean, and we was talking about October, right?
Mhm.
And this is August. Well,
Does the decision have to be made today?
Mm-mm.
No.
Well,
Is postponing it an option?
Of course. We've not done any advertising this year. So it was actually supposed to be kicked off last October, 2020. But because of COVID, we said, let's wait till March. Well, March has come and gone and we're still no better. I mean, better off, but now we're not.
Mm.
So yeah, I love the virtual idea.
I think we should plan on having a Zoom conference. And if things are changing, we can still have an in-person conference. So we
Have both.
yeah, exactly. So let's plan for both of them and see which one will work when we get close to to October.
Oh, we can do this, have both at the same time.
Mhm.
It's called hybrid.
Yeah, that is true. We can record it. We can have people there in person and other people watching online.
I agree. Yeah.
is it possible to move to a larger location?
Absolutely. And I'm open to suggestions. Kanapaha, they were going to allow us to use the space for free. So that's always a really great thing. So I don't know if you've got something particular in mind, but we're open.
No, I was just throwing that out there. I didn't know what the free works.
I have no idea.
Looking at it, the schedule, the only conflict would be the 8:50 to 9:20, where there's two choices of what to do. I'm not sure how you would handle that virtually.
So let me get on down here to. So this is the schedule that we were thinking of, again, for last October of 2020. So you could see the date up there at the top. And none of these things are carved in stone. And I know that Queen had actually thought of some other different ones as well. And some of the things that we had received a presentation, like the rapid prototyping techniques and the arts, I didn't feel as though this group was really super excited about that because it's pretty specialized to that gentleman. So it wasn't something that all artists could benefit from. It was pretty specific if you do whatever that was. I'm still a little confused.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm hoping that the conference really was about developing artists, providing information so artists could be independent, functioning, getting paid, making money, know how to find the money, and be able to give back to the community. And prototyping, I didn't see that.
Well, and I kind of almost wonder too, if we go a virtual format, for example, like I'm looking at this very first one where our tourism manager, she would demystify the destination enhancement grant process. And if that's something that the group still really likes, maybe she could just record it whenever. It could be an hour-long session. She could record tomorrow if she wanted to. And then we have it in the inventory. And then whenever we decide this is the date, then it just requires me hit and play. And, everybody's on Zoom and they can hear her do her thing. And she could have taken 200 takes until she was happy with it.
Yeah.
Will the 11 o'clock speech be live?
It could if you wanted to. But, that one's even kind of timely. We just had, everybody's applications for the next one down. That was due Saturday night, so I'd be more than happy to record it, kind of walk through it with everybody, and then we just play it. And the nice thing too about it being recorded, it's like you could take a couple-minute break in between each one.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking me into it, Queen. I like it.
Okay.
And then we wouldn't have to do lunch. We could even offer it free if you guys thought that was the appropriate, because we wouldn't have any expenses.
Oh,
Yeah.
it can be free. I was pushing the idea of being free in the beginning. I'm like, I'm a giver. I'm not a taker. Sometimes you have to receive.
I would say so too, because this is the first one that we would be doing, and rolling something out like that, I feel like that would be best as well.
Mhm.
I agree. Yeah.
Since we have Lyra, what do you think about understanding the county's call to artists process? Do you feel like you could pre-record a session and send it to me, and then we could play it?
Yeah, I can do that. I mean, I can record and send it to you whenever it's ready. I don't see that as a problem.
Okay.
We already got what, 3?
First, yeah.
Yeah. How to use social media? How it can work for you? Okay. That can be pre-recorded.
Yeah.
All
Now,
this
I
can
don't
be-
know that Taylor is still in Alachua County. I'm gonna have to do a little research on him.
Okay. Yeah, it seemed like a lot of this could be recorded, and people can get up and do movement and exercise on Zoom. I've seen them do that.
I have a suggestion on the grant topic. Would be great to have information about all existing grants available for Alachua County artists. It's not only by Visit Gainesville, because I just spoke with Jessica Hurov today, and it appears that we only have grants available for nonprofits, while majority of artists are just individuals or LLCs, and they cannot apply. So some of the other grants that are available, or the only one that I know available for individual artists, is Department of State's grant. And maybe there is something I'm not aware, but would be great to know and share this information with artists.
And I'm so glad you brought that up, because there was a grant that we applied for. And basically it's so we can re-grant federal funds. It was through the local arts agency. I don't know if you remember, I sent you an email like a month or so ago saying the county was going to apply. So we submitted our initial mini application, and they invited us to do the full application. So it's actually due today, and it was submitted and everything, but we've asked for $150,000, and we would grant 10 Alachua County artists $15,000 in grants. So theoretically, if we are awarded that, you don't need to be an LLC. And then that could be another session. It's like, this is the program and we're rolling it out, and we can explain to people how to apply for that pot of money as well. But yes, we actually have a grant writer, and Jeff goes through and he looks for different grants. And so I can ask him to just compile a super quick list, so people know that these are the grants that are this date and time. I think sometimes they existed last year and they don't exist this year, or they weren't on our radar today and they're there tomorrow, like grants kind of come and go. But I can ask Jeff to put together a list, and we could share that information with our artists too.
That's great.
And he can probably do some recording to teach people how to go find grants too.
So he actually goes through some software that the county pays for. It's called eCivis. And if you're a 501c3, we give you a free username and password to go in, and you can research the grants yourself.
I have that.
But as far as I know, we don't allow and maybe Lyra, sorry to put you on the spot. Do you know if we would allow the private side, like they're not 501c3, they're just an artist. They're just an Alachua County citizen, that we would give them an eCivis username and password?
I don't know. From what I know, it's only LLCs, but that's something I can ask John.
If you don't mind, I would appreciate it, because if we would, allow them, it's like, so let's word out there, like tell us your email address and we'll get you access.
I
Yeah.
think also foundation, I think the foundation or something like that does do individual artists.
Most of the foundations do not do individual artists. Most of the grants or funds available are for nonprofits only, but artists are usually just on their own. And I think it's really important to give them an opportunity. And there is so much creativity and independence and innovation coming from just individuals rather than a nonprofit. So it would be great to have these opportunities too.
And I think there's also a thing called Patron that we can also let artists know that they can also get on that and get a salary. It's a thing called Patron.
Patreon.
Patreon, you know which one I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, people kind of pay like a membership or something, depending on what tier is, how much money you pay, and they unlock different things like artist cards or stickers or wallpapers or anything like that.
Okay.
But that's more like a job than anything else. But yes, they can do Patreon. I know many artists that do Patreon, also do Etsy's, and of course YouTube on how to do stuff.
Well, being an artist, they should understand is a business. Being an artist is a business.
True.
You know, buy and sell.
So yeah, so there's many things that they can do via internet. Like I watch a lot of artists doing questions and answers, and they just stream themselves drawing or painting and answering questions or anything of the like.
Mm-hmm. So I thought.
Gina, if we did this in person, would we have any physical responsibilities such as setting up chairs or taking down chairs or emceeing and all that?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
He doesn't want to do virtual.
Oh, I don't care. I'm just trying to learn all I can.
Yeah, and setting up chairs and everything. I love virtual.
Yes, I know what I'm saying. I don't have to do any extra work.
So I guess the next item on our agenda is public comment. We do have 2 students that are joining us today. So did you guys have anything, any questions, anything?
We were actually like wondering, I think you've mentioned it in the very beginning about like the sculptures for like African-American deceased citizens. I think that's what you said it was.
Mhm.
We were wondering like what that was about.
So Alachua County had a Confederate soldier statue on the west lawn of the county administration building. And back in 2017, there was just a lot of discussion around the entire country about these Confederate statues and whether they are historic symbols, whether they're symbols of slavery. We had the gamut of people's opinions on them. So in Alachua County, we were pretty fortunate that the Daughters of the Confederacy donated our statue to us back in 1904. And so we asked them, would you take it back? And they said yes. So in 2017, they peacefully relocated it to a cemetery outside of Micanopy. And since then, we've had this vacant 12 by 12 slab at the county admin building. So we've done a couple of call to artists. The first one, we didn't get any people respond. I thought it was because the budget was a little too small. It was $25,000. The board agreed, so they increased the budget to $40,000. We put the call out again, and the top 2 ranked submittals were both trees. Again, we didn't want there to be any misunderstanding of what the trees represented and that they could possibly be misunderstood to be like hanging trees. So the board said, nope, we don't want that message out here. And we have a beautiful live oak, sorry, my lights keep going out, on the property anyway. And so having art that was a tree next to a real tree didn't make sense. So they rejected all the bids. Then we did a call for ideas to all the citizens, and the Gainesville megaphone was the idea. The board really liked that idea because it was the thought of at your county government building, citizens' voices would be heard, that their government was listening. So we went through that process and got, I don't know, 18 submittals or something, and went to the board, and they didn't like any of them. So they rejected all the bids. So we actually have a private citizen who has said that they would match the county up to $50,000 if we would consider a Martin Luther King statue. Well, both the Arts Council and the Community Remembrance Project Committee, they both said, Dr. King, he is a very wonderful man, but he's already recognized in Alachua County. So it seems a little redundant to have another statue recognizing him whenever there's already a memorial at City Hall, which is across the street. So that's why we're now at the process that I just mentioned, where we'll do a call to citizens to get input on some prominent Alachua County African-American deceased citizens, and then go through that process. So hopefully that answers your questions. If not, let me know.
No,
I'm trying to turn on my lights.
much. I didn't know about that, so that was very informative. Thank you.
Sure. I still don't have lights. Oh, there they go.
We still just can have objects, symbols.
So right now, the board, they really want it to be a person right this moment. And it's interesting because their direction from 2017, 2018 is they didn't want to honor a specific person. They were very clear.
Right.
So we've changed our mind.
And I'm still good with symbols.
Has the matching donation disappeared now?
No. So I did talk to the donor and I said, Dr. King, he's been recognized. And so I've heard it from two different groups. What do you think? And they said, so long as they are an honorable person that should be a role model. So there's a good backstory there, that citizens should aspire to be like this person, then they're fine.
Oh, they're talking about me. Oh my God. That's gonna be a hard pick.
Yeah.
See, so that's why we need to go back to symbols.
And
Symbols.
what's the deadline?
So the Community Remembrance Program Committee, they're going to start their process. So I don't think you guys are going to see it again, probably until like October, November at the earliest, because I don't know how long it's going to take for them to put out their call for suggestions and then go through them. And, we assume people are going to have suggestions. What if they don't get any? So they have to like ramp up their marketing efforts to try and get people to submit ideas, and a couple of months at least before you guys will see it again. But I do have the draft call to artists already ready, written to go. I just need to know, who are we honoring? So my side will be super quick once we figure out who it is.
I would like to know that too.
I have a question unrelated to what we're talking about.
Go ahead.
I'm just curious if we're meeting on Labor Day next month.
So I did look at the calendar, and the Grace Night Conference Room, again, for that meeting, I need a quorum of members physically present because we're going over the grant rankings and stuff. So the 13th, so 1 week later, not the 6th, but 1 week later. So we'd meet the second Monday, if that works for everybody.
On the 13th?
I will be present physically, Gina.
Thank you.
I can make it too.
Thank
I'm
you.
vaccinated. Okay, I can make that in person.
Thank you. And so I don't need an answer right this second, but I do need at least 2 more physically present so we can conduct business.
I will be, yeah.
Thank you.
So you need one more?
Yeah, and we have a
Be
couple of
there.
missing members, and so
I can probably be there too.
awesome.
So is next meeting also when the decision is going to be made on the conference?
If we want to, We have time on our side.
Or-
And so I totally don't mind reaching out to the other county employees. So Lyra, she's on the call and I'm on the call too. So, you know, if we're both okay with doing the recorded thing, I can get with Jessica and ask her the same thing. And then I can report back to you that, you know, we're all on board or somebody has reservations about it.
Everybody's doing it.
The only downside of recording it is that we can't take questions live.
Yeah.
That would be the only thing, but other than that, I think we're good.
When I wonder too, that's an excellent point that maybe if we go ahead and air it and we tell people these are pre-recorded sessions. So if you have questions, just type them in the chat. And then at the end, maybe you do pop in and you're live then and you just kind of go through and answer the questions.
That could work too.
If we have videos pre-recorded, it might have that. Can you hear me? Yes, I just know from my experience through Zoom meetings, if you share pre-recorded video, it might have a little bit low quality. So I would advise maybe showcase those pre-recorded videos on the big screen during the actual events and kind of put them together for online format, while some people may attend it. If we decide to do it hybrid, ask questions to the presenters in person, something like that. Just to keep in mind how we could put those pre-recorded video together so it was a good quality when sharing through Zoom.
That's a good point. Maybe I'll try and record like a 30-second something and show it to you at your next meeting, and then you could see if it's good quality or not.
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
it depends on connection, depends on manufacturers. Good to try, yeah.
well, actually, the last training I did for year end, we actually have it recorded, and it's basically just a PowerPoint, which is at least what I was gonna do. And you can, I mean, I can show it to you on the next meeting if you like, and you can see how it looks. Or
Sure.
Would this year's date be Friday the 1st?
We hadn't decided that.
Or-
Did the group want to go ahead and decide on a date for the artist conference, or do we want to talk about it some more?
Can we
September
talk
13th.
about it when we meet on the 13th?
Mhm.
That way it gives me opportunities to also get more information if we do virtual Zoom. But then I should be able to have a little bit more information to bring to the table.
And any others for the public comment portion? Anything else on your end, Gina?
No, sure.
I don't see any hands on the app. I didn't hear you.
Good.
Okay. Seeing none, we will conclude our Arts Council meeting at 6:08 p.m. Do we need a motion for that?
You can't.
Okay, right.
All right.
Everybody.
Bye.
Yeah,
Thank you, everybody.
all right,
Bye,
bye.
everyone.
Thank you.
See you next month.